Echo, and I just listened and I absorbed it, and so I targeted Ohio, Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin.
With what? You mailed resumes?
Mailed hard tapes. I made a little fake tape.
Yep.
I was horrible. Elizabeth Claman, Channel 2 News.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was a murder story, I got a pit bull story, I'm like, the people are dead, but the neighborhood is now safe.
Yeah, exactly.
I am horrible. But you got to start somewhere. And the camera guys, who are the smartest in every newsroom, said to me, target third-rated stations in top 50 markets. There are 250 markets in them, you know, everything from New York, LA to Fort Smith, Arkansas. And they said, you don't want to start too small. So target top 50 markets, but the third-rated stations they'll take a chance on.
So you're talking about America's cities.
Yeah.
And but not the top station in that city?
No, not the number one station, because they can pick and choose.
Yeah.
So I targeted, it was called WSYX, Channel 6 News, Columbus, Ohio. I mean, we were third-rated by a long shot. I think our motto was, you know, Channel 6 News. If it's news today, that's news to us. We were really, you know what though? No, it was reporter boot camp, and they had a live truck, they had live trucks, they had a helicopter. So, and it was Ohio State was right there.
Yeah.
So
and you
I
were
covered
outside?
Buckeye games.
Yeah, you were outside.
Reporter.
Yeah.
Freezing. My tuchus off. I'd never driven in snow.
Oh yeah, of course.
Never. Ice storms, had no idea what I was doing.
That's why you're good at parallel parking.
Oh my God, I'm so good now. And now I'll just drive in blizzards, because you live in Cleveland, you get tough.
Yeah, well, local news, because of, I think, you know, Anchorman and stuff, and, you know, it just has this history of, it's, local news is the butt of so many jokes.
Oh
but
my
what
God.
was...
Deservedly so.
Deservedly so, but everyone's working hard. I mean, was it fun? Did you have the time of your life, or what?
You know, in retrospect, of course, my mother says, darling, you cried for a year in Columbus. Because I kept saying, when am I going to get to the network? When am I going to get... Had you said, Liz, it's going to take 9.5 to 10 years, because I did local news for 10 years,
yeah.
I might have given up. But here's the thing, when you really want something, you got to fight for it, because it just doesn't work if you don't. It's like you probably started in the small clubs and things like that. You don't just get on TV at the network level. And I think people today, kids today, damn it, the youths of today, they don't understand what it means to climb.
Yeah.
To fight and to really make that effort. And so when I was leaving for Columbus, I got the job, and by then I had been completely brainwashed by Pat O'Brien and Jim Lampley and those guys who were saying, you got to go to the Midwest. My parents said, wait, you're moving to Columbus? I said, yeah. And my mother said, well, when are you coming back?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know, Mom, maybe never.
Yeah. So
my dad, though, who was a risk taker, I'm my dad's daughter, you know, and he said, this is going to be great. And then, of course, after 3 years in Columbus, I said, I've got to get out of Ohio. I need to get to a next big market. The only city that offered me a job was Cleveland. And I remember calling my dad, and he said, oh, no, you're going to love Cleveland. He had done a residency at Mount Sinai as a surgeon. He said, oh, they have the best murders there.
Exactly.
I was like,
and that's what you're covering, right?
That's right. And then you go to Boston, where there's very little crime.
But news is big there.
News is huge there.
I mean, local news was all we watched. We didn't watch the network.
I was like, we're live at the whale carcass on the coast of Rhode Island. I'll blow the entire story out of proportion for you tonight at 11.
Fantastic. So now let's skip to the end. Fox Business. How'd you get here? What was it?
I'd done 9 years at CNBC.
Yeah. Okay, so you were business.
Well, I was trying to get to New York or LA.
Yeah.
No one would hire me in local news, because at the New York and LA level, they're really looking to reflect the demographic.
Yep.
And, you know, in many cases, they want to reflect a big city demographic and, you know, minorities. I kept saying to
it's
these
huge.
news directors,
Every city, yeah.
Yeah, I kept saying to the news director, I'm a Jew who looks Irish. Isn't that a minority?
I mean,
they're like, not quite, sweet pea. So I thought, try cable, and this was 1998. And so I auditioned for I don't golf, I auditioned for the Golf Channel. I don't cook, I did the Food Channel. I auditioned for E! Entertainment. I mean, I put on the Wonder Bra, the whole thing, the leopard shirt. And the one bite I got was CNBC. Now, this is before .com.
Yeah. But did you know business?
No clue!
Didn't know business, yeah.
but I knew a good story. You know, when
yeah.
you send me to a building collapse, by 6 p.m. I was an architect. I knew how many pounds per square inch it would take to crumble an I-beam.
Yeah.
So I sold myself big time, and I said, oh, I can do this, I can pick this up. And CNBC at the time had a bunch of people who had come from local news, executives, and they said, you know, we've got people who understand business, but they don't communicate very well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're trying to train people who communicate well, and you're the one. They picked me, and they said, we'll give you 13 weeks. So I quit my job in Boston. And it had parking. That's the thing. Like, Jews from LA, when you go to a Laker game, nobody ever asks, where'd you sit? They ask, where'd you park?
Yeah. Where'd you live when you were in Boston?
Boston, I lived at 2 places. I lived in the South End in a brownstone, which, of course,
Beautiful.
in your mind, you think is so cool,
Yeah.
until the cockroach comes up out of the drain, and you break your lease and you move. And then I moved to between Central Square and Harvard Square on Mass Avenue in a high-rise.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice neighborhoods. I like it there.
I moved 3 times when I was in Boston. You know, the drivers are nuts, the whole thing. I mean, I took my life into my hands every day that I drove. The big dig, you know, the whole thing is crazy.
You were there. They were digging during you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
in
when it
fact, we did an undercover piece called The Big Swig, because we found that lots of the workers were going into the Purple Shamrock Bar on their lunch break for a liquid lunch, and so we kind of did an undercover
That was
thing.
a scandal?
We called it The Big Swig.
But they can do that, those guys.
They threatened to sue us, and the station backed down.
Oh, really? That's amazing. But you didn't have to worry about this. Those Boston guys,
I wasn't the investigative person.
Yeah, they can work drunk, those guys. They're okay.
They're excellent at that.
Well, now you're here. So glad to have you here at Fox Business. This was good. Did we get any questions?
Yeah, a couple people were asking about some favorites, kind of random favorites.
Sure.
Your favorite cereal,
Okay.
favorite punk rock band,
Okay.
favorite Frank Sinatra song. All 3 of those came up, I think, from different users too.
Okay. My favorite cereal, it's a tie between Special K Red Berries and Count Chocula.
Oh, wow.
Is that
a lot of
sick or
flavor,
what? Is that crazy? Yeah. You got the healthy, you got the salty, you got the sweet.
We might have both of those at home right now.
Right.
We have a chocolate one, and we also, my wife likes the Special K with the berries.
Okay. What was the second one?
Favorite punk rock band.
Favorite punk rock band. Does Oingo Boingo count because they played at
I would
our
say
prom?
that. They're classic.
Right?
They were at the prom?
They're not punk rock. They're people.
Oingo
Whoever
Boingo.
asks that is going to say she's such a poser.
But no, back then they were. This is in my book. I talk about how the fact that people called me punk in high school in 1984
Right.
because I was into the Police. You know what I mean? Like back then in the 80s, they definitely called Oingo Boingo punk. You know, and like Susie and the Banshees, all that stuff that was new wave. It was called punk then.
Of course.
Yeah.
Susie.
Susie, yes.
Yeah, like Sioux
Yes.
Indians.
Frank Sinatra song.
And my favorite Frank Sinatra song, I actually did see Frank Sinatra
Oh,
once in Columbus years and years after his prime, and I left early because he was leaving early in his mind, you know. But he does have a song called Elizabeth. That is not my favorite song. It's so cheesy to say this, but I do like Fly Me to the Moon.
great.
And I really like New York, New York.
New York, New York.
Classics.
It's a classic. It's cheesy, but I do like that. Do we share a birthday? Cary Grant and I share a birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. And I went to school with Jennifer Grant, whose parents were Cary Grant and Diane Cannon.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Grant though. What was she in?
Nothing. She's not an actress.
She's not, but she used to just be a celebrity.
She's a kid. She's
Yeah.
just great.
Yeah.
I went. Katie Wagner, Robert Wagner's daughter.
Oh yeah, Robert Wagner was in here.
Really?
He came in. I interviewed him.
kidding?
Yeah, yeah. It's on the Fox. It's on the
Laura
Red Eye
Rogers,
website.
Wayne Rogers' daughter.
Oh yeah, the great Wayne Rogers.
Yeah.
We've got some fashion questions.
Okay, let's hear
Someone
it.
asked about your heels, whatever shoes you're wearing. That's one question. And show them off.
Jimmy Choo.
Jimmy Choo, of course.
And why am I not wearing them right now? Should we show what I'm wearing right now? Because
There
I
you
can't
go.
walk. I can't walk in heels. So I put on my Jimmy Choo boots afterward. But
You're
here's
sponsored
another
by
little
them?
tip. I usually only buy off bluefly.com because they have last season's shoes at less expensive prices. And being a business anchor, one thing I learned is that retail is a big, high fashion.
Yeah.
So big rip-off.
Another fashion question and
Yeah.
then one serious question.
Okay.
They want to know if you like Tom's tie.
No, why wouldn't she? I think we know the answer to
Okay,
that.
I don't.
And then now we have a financial question.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on how to handle the student debt crisis?
Yes, I do. And believe it or not, this came from a really conservative friend of mine. It's called taking a haircut, but we have got to deal with this crisis because what we now have. Hey,
Look,
I'm listening.
it's John and Hardy of London. Okay, go on. What are you going to do though? How do you deal with it?
you have indentured servitude. There are 55-year-old people still paying off student loans. Okay, people are desperate to go to college, so they take out the loans. And, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are definitely unfair loans. I don't know. It's more than $1 trillion. It's more than credit. It's just slightly below credit card debt. It's more than auto debt for the whole country.
It's a bubble.
I was privileged enough not to have student loans, but
Interest
I can
rates
tell
are
you,
around like 7%.
I
too.
feel devastated for people who are saddled with this, especially medical school students and kids who go to law school and they think they're going to get a job and they don't. They can't pay off the loans. Although you can't play dumb. If you sign on the dotted line, are you a criminal or not? You got to pay it back. But it's predatory in many cases. It really is. And I truly feel for people. And even this conservative friend of mine said, you got to somehow cut it down for people and figure out the issue. Then I have a really libertarian friend who said, we should stop giving student loans totally and watch tuition
Prices go
fall.
way
That's
down.
it, right?
Tuition
Yeah.
would fall in 2 seconds. Harvard couldn't get anybody. Well, Harvard maybe, but couldn't get anybody to pay tuition. And by the way, tuition has spiked way higher than the rate of inflation. What, are the buildings that much better? No. So I think it's on, the onus is on both universities and lenders, and also the people who take out the loans.
Who's more predatory, the colleges or the banks?
Probably the banks. It's not the banks. It's these loan operations, and it just people get under, and there's no way to dig yourself out.
Yeah. They worry about. They
It's
say
very-
I'll
it's
worry
very
about it
sad.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. Or go to a less expensive college. I'm a big believer.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where you go. Doesn't matter where you go. If you can go to a community college, I'm a huge supporter of community colleges. I'm a huge supporter of state colleges.
colleges.
I went state. UC system in California.
I went UMass.
We had 5 kids. 4 of us. 2 Santa Barbara. 2 of us to Berkeley. I transferred from Santa Cruz. I was all over the map. Couldn't stay in one place. I did summer school at UCLA. Best thing going for the price. And my dad, even as a surgeon, couldn't have done it. If I got accepted to Tufts, I did not go.
Tufts.
Not because he said don't go, but
Yeah.
I just weighed it all. And
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to my dad.
And now it's 10 times as much. Tufts.
80,000. I don't know about Tufts, but George Washington,
Yeah.
GW, Georgetown,
NYU.
60,000, 70,000.
I had 7,000 when I was done with college.
I had 7,000 per
7,000.
semester.
Oh, you did. When I was done, I had 7,000 of debt,
Oh.
and that took me forever to pay.
Right.
I remember thinking 7,000. When am I going to have to pay this off? 7,000.
Right.
But it was a lot of money. It was like it took a long time.
Yeah.
So-
It is. I really do feel for people about student loans. I really do.
Listen-
Got to do something. President Trump actually has an idea.
President Trump.
I thought he's not doing anything.
He is.
What's he going to do?
He said that he would like to propose that people pay a certain percentage of their salary once they get a job. There's the caveat, once they get a job. And if they pay that percentage for 12 years, 10, 12 years, that's it. You're done. Done. Finished. Leave me alone. None of this 30 years, 40 years you're paying student loan debt. It's never going to work.
Well, Liz has to go get her car from the garage. I heard her call. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank
And
you
thanks
so
for doing
much.
it.
You
Thank
guys, thank you. Thank you for
Watch your
watching
show.
Red Eye. Yeah, 3
Watch your
p.m.
show.
Eastern on the Fox Business Network. Check your local listings.